Good afternoon and welcome to the largest Rotary Club in the largest Rotary District in the world. We are glad that you are here today, and you are going to be glad that you came today. We have an outstanding program. This program is so good that I see that Jake Dollarhide is here live and in person for this meeting. Jack McGlumphy is here today. We're so glad that both of you guys are with us. It's good to see you and have you as a part of this meeting. Mike Homan is here too, so we're dealing all aces today. We've got a great program, but first, Ashley Cutshaw is going to lead us in an invocation and pledge. Ashley has her own financial consulting now, Maple Ridge Financial Advisors, and we're going to have a memorial resolution. Remember those? We're going to have a memorial resolution from our chairman of the board, Bill Vogel. Guest introductions by Rob Gardenhire. Ashley?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together today in fellowship and service. We are grateful for the blessings of community, friendship, and the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others. Guide us in our work that we may use our talents and resources to strengthen our community, lift those in need, and serve with integrity and compassion. Grant us wisdom in our decisions, unity in our purpose, and joy in giving back. Bless this meeting, our conversations, and the work we do together. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. My name is Rob Gardenhire. Introducing our guests today, we'll start with our visiting Rotarian, Glenda Love, guest of Karen Keith. Then we have a few guests here. Denise Dillon, related to Jerry Dillon somehow. Welcome. Zoe Hale, guest of Brian Bovard, and Amanda Fisher, guest of Brian Bovard. Welcome. And then Gabrielle Ross, guest of John Croissant. Thank you.
It is my honor today to present a memorial resolution for our fellow Rotarian of 25 years and one of my best friends, Ronald J. Walker. Ron passed away on July 12th at the age of 91, which he would no doubt refer to as his 91st rocket ship trip around the sun. He was a Paul Harris Fellow and a Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation Fellow. Ron was born in Toledo, Ohio, and graduated from the Case Institute of Technology with a degree in mechanical engineering. He was an actual, real-life rocket scientist, working for North American Rockwell Aviation at the White Sands Testing Facility in New Mexico. Ron and his team were deeply involved in the planning and testing of the rocket engines for the Apollo program, the machines that sent Americans to the moon. In 1969, Ron and his wife Joy and two children, Kyle and Lori, moved to Tulsa, where he served until his 1999 retirement as Managing Director of Power Plant Engineering for American Airlines. Ron was laid to rest in New Lexington, Ohio, beside his wife Joy. He is survived by his son Kyle of Tulsa. Ron had a need for speed. His favorite movie was, of course, Top Gun. He was a private pilot, an avid Corvette owner with a very heavy foot, as he demonstrated to me on an occasion, one time only. And of course, fast and powerful jet engines. In retirement, Ron was an outdoor fan and a community volunteer. He enjoyed tennis, golfing, and especially fishing, whether deep sea or floating the White River, and often flying into Canadian lakes with his buddies. His club sponsor was his good friend Jack Maxwell, but the member that truly involved Ron in Rotary was our friend Sid Patterson. Ron chaired this club's Up with Trees committee when that was an active committee, as well as the RAT Patrol, the Rotary Action Team, two committees that we no longer actually have. And he served since inception on the Above and Beyond Committee. He volunteered at Up with Trees for almost 20 years, managing the operations office and keeping logs and site plans on the planting of over 10,000 trees. He was also a sign shop supervisor where he routed, painted, assembled numerous signs, the ones you see on the highways and medians in Tulsa today. On a program conceived by Sid Patterson, Ron helped coordinate the planting of 440 trees on Rotary sites on Tulsa highways, representing one tree for every member of this club at that time. Ron's dry wit will be missed by his friends and his Rotary family. I move that this resolution be adopted by a standing vote of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. May you rise for a moment of silent tribute to the memory of Rotarian Ron Walker.
Thank you, Bill. I had the privilege of serving with Ron on the Above and Beyond Awards Committee, and he was consistent. Despite the fact I got to know him a bit, I knew about Up with Trees, but I didn't realize, Bill, that he was literally a rocket scientist. I appreciate you sharing that with us. It gives me a new appreciation for Ron. We've got a little bit of Rotary DNA for you today again. It relates directly to our presentation. During the pandemic, and this is the pandemic in 2021, Bob, not the one in 1920 that you may remember, much of life was on pause. The Rotary Club of Tulsa actually partnered with the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission to create a lasting remembrance in Greenwood. Together, we dedicated 2 benches through the Toni Morrison Society's Bench by the Road project, one at Vernon AME Church and another at the Mabel B. Little Heritage House. The Bench by the Road initiative was inspired by Toni Morrison's reflection that there were too few memorials honoring the history of enslaved people. Since 2006, benches and plaques have been placed at significant sites around the world to ensure that these stories are remembered. At the dedication ceremony inside Vernon Church on April 17th, 2021, our own Phil Armstrong, the project director for the Centennial Commission, opened with a moving rendition of the Black National Anthem, "Lift Every Voice and Sing." Past President Hannibal B. Johnson spoke about the significance of the site, followed by community leaders who reflected on the importance of remembrance and peace. Our own president, Paul Baumann, at the time, is Paul here today? Paul had a quote that I thought was very on point. "We believe that when people work to create peace in their communities, that change will have a global effect." As Rotarians, we all heartily concur with that sentiment. Today, one of those 2 benches sits at Greenwood Rising, the Black Wall Street History Center you'll hear about today, the other near the Greenwood Cultural Center. These benches are more than just places to rest. They stand as markers of memory, resilience, and hope. The $12,000 donation from the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation was part of a larger $82,000 gift from the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation to the Centennial Commission, ensuring that the story of Greenwood will continue to be told for generations to come. This project reminds us that even in difficult times, we can make a difference by honoring the past, serving the present, giving hope to the future. Let's take a minute and we'll reflect back on that April 17th, 2021 ceremony with this video. Doesn't Tina do a nice job with those videos? I mean, first class, first class. Now, I checked with a reliable source. My understanding is those two benches by the side of the road are the only two benches in Tulsa. Your Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation made that possible. So thank you for participating in that. This is a quote from World Magazine attributed to Toni Morrison, who founded that. There is now a place you or I can go to think about or not think about, to summon the presences of or recollect the absences of slaves. There is now something that reminds us of the ones who made the journey and those who did not make it. There's now a suitable memorial. There's now a bench by the road. So thank you, Rotary Club of Tulsa, for doing that. It's very interesting in this position to transition between something that somber and side mic announcements. But we have a couple of side mic announcements from Sheree Gardner and Barney James. And then I've been asked to make a side mic announcement by one of our really shy members who doesn't like to take the spotlight or speak in front of people, Brenda Melancon. And she wanted to let everybody know that this year we will be volunteering for the Tulsa Area United Way, the Day of Caring, at the Girl Scouts of Eastern Oklahoma headquarters. We will be indoors to clean and organize the facility's kitchen areas and freshen up carpets in common spaces. This can't be right. It says no hard labor, just tidying up and organizing. This is going to be on September 12th. What day of the week is that, Brenda? Friday, September 12th from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. or whenever we finish. For those of you who participated in our day that we spent at Oklahoma Blood Institute, we had 22 people there, and what would have taken about 4 hours took less than an hour and a half. So let's turn up for September 12th at the Girl Scouts of Eastern Oklahoma and do that. Lunch will be provided. And Brenda, would you stand up just real quick so everybody can see where you're at? If you would chat with Brenda and let her know. Yeah, we'll give Brenda a hand. That's a good idea. If you chat with Brenda and let her know. Where's Sheree and Barney? Side mic announcements.
I was asked by the engagement chair, Ben Jones, if I would make the announcement. He's out of town, so it's his fault that I'm up here. First off, I was also asked to make this announcement. We have 50 tickets tonight for the Drillers game, and it's used as a kind of a recruitment or introduction event. And I'd have to say that I'm proud that over 40 tickets are going to people outside this club to draw interest in either our new impact group or our legacy club ourselves. So let's have a round of applause for Case Anderson for getting it done. Usually when you have 50 tickets, we wind up spur of the moment. And I will tell you right now, there technically are none available. They have 50 people committed to it, but if you'd like to go, we'll find more tickets. That's how good a job our young recruitment committee is doing, so hats off to them. Now, back to the engagement. The engagement committee is full of very attractive and smart people, fun people, and then me. So consequently, there's room for you if you want to get involved with this. We had our first task, our number one goal of the engagement committee, we accomplished yesterday with the engagement of Travis and Taylor. We refer to that as T squared. So hats off to the engagement committee for that engagement. Now back to our club. We are starting a fantasy football league, and there's one spot left in that. If you want to get involved and have some camaraderie outside of the club, we're moving all in on several things. So fantasy football is the one to start with. Also, we have a golf fellowship. If you play golf at all and you see a fundraiser that you'd like to play in and you don't know 3 other people, we have a list of 19 people in our club that will tee it up and join you. And let me just say, Cody Burrows is who you want on your team, former collegiate golfer that hits the ball a mile. But there's several others, like Duff Waddell, who's had how many hole-in-ones? 3 or 4. So we've got some sticks in this club. Reach out and have a round and spend some time with a fellow Rotarian. We are going to have some conversation starters, dinners with friends. We have a lot of different ideas here, so come and join the committee. Any interest or hobby that you have that you'd like to share with Rotarians, please bring it up to Ben Jones, and that's going to be an easy name to remember. If you can't remember Ben Jones, he has the same initials as I do. So if you're in DAC-DB, just look me up, and he's 2 or 3 people down there, so just find us, and we'll get you hooked into the committee. And lastly, I told you about the Drillers tickets tonight, so that's all I've got to. Please get engaged with Rotary. We'd love to know more. What I don't want is to hear more people passing away and finding out. I liked Ron. I considered him my friend, but there were several things today that I did not know that about him. I don't want to wait until someone's passed away to find out all the great things about them. So let's share a little bit more of ourselves with Rotary. Thank you.
Don't tell Barney, but I'm older than him. Good afternoon. I am so excited to be here today. I have a couple of things, and today kind of wanted me to bring out what I wanted to say today. The Golden Circle Gala raises money for the foundation that gives our Rotary clubs opportunity to do stuff for the city of Tulsa. And that's what makes our club so wonderful. The Golden Circle raises money, and that money goes to the foundation, which gives us the opportunity to do stuff. Now, a little side note, when I did this last year, I raised $40,000. Well, that was the net, that wasn't the gross. The gross was $68,000, and we paid for the gala from you guys, everybody here, and so on. And so that's where our net came from. Now, being a self-employed person, I have to have goals and reach them and check them each time to be successful. So my goal this year, besides having the gala paid off, is to bring that goal up to $50,000 to go to the foundation. Now, then I wanted to tell you the vision of the evening and what this evening is going to entail. And all the young people that are new, all the new people that have joined, all the regulars, I do have some pictures to blackmail of some of the dancers that was there last year. And it was just absolutely amazing. But this year, we decided to do the Magic Continues for the Golden Circle Gala. And the reason why is because it's to celebrate the magic of Rotary, the magic and celebration of all of us that bring that magic to what we do. And so that's why we're doing that. The evening, you're going to be introduced by a little tulip. I call her a pumpkin, but she's on stilts, and she's going to welcome you into Southern Hills. When you go and you come early and get your drinks, you will be having a side magician coming to do some card tricks. And then we'll have the bubble guy. So all you, everyone, girls, me, do the fruity drinks, wine, mixed drinks. The bubble guy, if you want, he will put a flavored bubble on your drink. And then after that, you know, last year we're going to have people to tell us that won grants and why it was so special that we raised this money and how it helped them. So we'll have 3 people come in and do the talk this year again. We'll have I don't know what you call him, it's kind of like a ball, but he jumps in this ball, and I'm trying to explain it, and then he comes out of the ball. So that's going to be really, really fun while we're eating our salads and getting ready for everything going. So it's going to be an ongoing, just a fabulous show. Then after that, we have the same DJ that we had last year. You know what was so wonderful about this DJ is that he had music from all genres. I mean, everybody was dancing and just having the best time. We do have ballet, so don't forget, we will have ballet for you waiting. And the mirror guy is going to go get out there, and he's going to dance with you for a little bit. So it's going to be a fun and magical evening. It's really easy to get tickets. Just the Monday email, there's a link. Just go to that link, check on that, and buy your tickets. Now, here's why I want your money. Like I said, the goal is for $50,000, and I know that everybody gets asked to sponsor this, sponsor that, sponsor this, and do everything. Well, we also have that we leave at everybody's table. Phil, do you have one on you by any chance? No. That's okay. But we had a magazine of everybody who put an ad in that magazine, which is really awesome because I actually remembered it and called someone from that magazine. But in there, those ads range from $100 to $500. And that just gets your name out there with your tickets, and it's an easy way to sponsor the Golden Circle Gala. So I cannot wait to see everybody out there smiling, having fun. We'll have we got the photo booth this year decided to do, because I did this. This was so awesome, and I posted it on Facebook. But you stand here, it's so awesome, guys. And you have somebody stand behind you, and your camera goes around in circles, and then it goes around another way, and then you get a slow motion of what you guys do. I mean, you ham it up. You have to ham it up. If you just stand there, it's just not any fun. I mean, you got to ham it up. And if you need me to show you what to ham up, I'll be your girl. I can show you Vogue poses. You know, we could make it happen. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that tickets are available, sponsorships are available. You can place an ad. They cost anywhere from $100 to $500. It's just whatever you want to put in there. Also, if you want to promote your business on the silent auction, I've already called a few people. They're not calling me back.
Sheree.
I am a great stalker.
Sheree, we do have a speaker this afternoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, thank you, everybody. I just tried to get that all in.
Now let's welcome our Sergeant at Arms, Shamino Vollmer. While she's coming up, I want to speculate a little bit. The ball you were talking about, Sheree, that somebody came out of, that somebody would not be Roger Ramsire, would it? No. Okay. Well, just double checking, Roger. I don't know. You show up in some interesting places.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Miguel. You always take good care of me. We appreciate you. All right. This morning, we're going to first, I want to recognize the ones that are sharing on social media. Thank you very much for our Be Like Case social media. Share the work of Rotary. So thank you, Brian Jackson, John Croissant, Lou Ann Potter, Barbara, Karen, Sheree. We need at least 4 more. And if I missed you, send me an email, shoot me a text so I can make sure. We're going to kind of raise the stakes for every person that shares. Every time you share the work of Rotary, we're going to put you into a drawing for the last month for $250 winning. So again, your name goes in the bucket. We need 4 more. I have faith that we'll get those. A lot of people shared last week.
Am I funding the $250?
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
Yeah. I tell him later. Need to know basis. But lots of shares last week on the PAC for that session. So again, continue to share. Let's get into birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Brenda. Where are you, Brenda? You're in the room there. Yes, $100 for August 31st. Happy birthday. Look at that. Egypt on the camels. How fun. You got to share some stories. Next up, we've got happy 60th anniversary for Jerry and Denise, and he brought his wife, Jerry. If you guys will stand up, I want to recognize you for your anniversary. Jerry and his wife donated $100, $60 for the anniversary, and then $40 for the Rotary Men of Note. I got to learn more about that, Jerry. We're going to talk anyway. And wanted to share one of their mottos here. Is it Dum Spiro Sparo? While I breathe. So I actually looked that up and learned a lot about that. So thanks for sharing. So happy anniversary. Did you know that these 2 guys, Philip Viles and John Hamill, were born on the same day? July 18th, 1946. Question is, were they separated at birth? They both donated $100. They are reunited by Tulsa Rotary in 2023. So let's give them a hand. Also, don't forget, sponsor a member. I've got some exciting interviews coming up, one with Jerry Dillon, Carl Vincent sponsored. Also, Pedro is coming up. Scott Philstrip is also coming up. So we've got a lot of exciting ones, but I need more, guys. So please reach out to me, sponsor a member. So many stories out there to tell that we need to share these. All right, so guys, what I want you to do, I'll start out by saying, if you want to scan this QR code, this is going to help you in the future. You can actually scan it, and you have to log in by either your Facebook, your Gmail, your Google, Gmail, whatever, or your email. But I want you to prep. So try to scan it today. I want you to be prepared because the next time we do the OU and OSU tickets, which, by the way, Barbara and Tim Knoll donated those. Today we're going to do auction. But next time, we're going to do a raffle. So there'll be a set amount. You can scan and put your name in the hat the next go around. And we'll just, it's live. I'll hit a button, and it'll roll the dial, and there'll be a winner for those tickets. So just want to make sure everybody can get connected easily by scanning that QR code. So you can try it today for next week. So we've got OSU versus UT Martin, August 28th. That's tomorrow, correct? The tickets are on the 50-yard line, guys. Great seats. Valued at $350. So we're going to start this bidding at $100. Who's ready? $100. OSU tickets, valued $350. Who wants to go to the game tomorrow? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You have family. You have friends. You can donate them. OSU, $100. Who's going to start? Oh, there we go, right over there. $100? Anyone? 125? 125. I am not an auctioneer, so that's why we're going to do raffles. 125? Anyone? All right, $100 going right over here. You'll pick them up from Tommy Lynn, by the way. She has those. Thank you. All right, next up is the OU versus Illinois State, August 30th, valued at $250, also donated by Tim and Barbara. So we'll start this out, $100. Who's up for OU? Do you guys ever go to football games? What's going on around here? $100, football games, tickets. Again, it's for the foundation. There we go. Awesome. Anybody? 125? 125? Anyone? All right, sold $100 right here. Again, Tommy Lynn has your tickets. You can see her in the back. Again, scan the QR code. Next time we'll be starting $20. We'll get you in the raffle for the tickets. And that's it today, guys. Thank you so much.
You know, one of the privileges of this position is getting to introduce the Rotarian of the day. And there are some really outstanding individuals that I get to introduce, including Hannibal B. Johnson. What's the B stand for, Hannibal? Barker, okay. Hannibal B. Johnson, a Harvard Law School grad. He's an author, an attorney, a consultant, a really snappy dresser, and a college professor. He serves on the federal 400 Years of African American History Commission and chaired the Education Committee for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission. Many of his books chronicle the black experience in Oklahoma and its indelible impact on American history. Hannibal received a Lifetime Achievement Award, he's not even that old, from the Oklahoma Center for the Book, and has been inducted into the Oklahoma Historians Hall of Fame, the Tulsa Hall of Fame, and the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming past President Hannibal Johnson.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. First, special shout out to John Hamill for those selections that salute our speaker. I'm especially fond of St. Louis Blues. Great. So our speaker, Raymond Doswell, grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in History from Monmouth College in Illinois, a Master of Arts in History from the University of California, Riverside, and a doctorate in educational leadership from Kansas State University. Dr. Doswell is a public historian, educator, and museum executive, and he has advised a variety of public and private entities such as museums, filmmakers, and educational institutions on matters of history and culture. He speaks throughout the country on Black history. Dr. Doswell was appointed Executive Director of the Greenwood Rising Black Wall Street History Center in January of 2023. He previously served as Vice President of Curatorial Services at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City. Fellow Rotarians, friends, and guests, please help me welcome Dr. Raymond Doswell.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. How are you? So good to be with you. Thank you, Hannibal. Thank you, President. Thank you, Maestro, as well, for the music, and thank all of you for being here. I'm going to try to keep my comments as brief as possible because I hope that you have questions. I'm looking forward to talking with all of you. But again, thank you for inviting me here to fellowship with you today. I have great respect for Rotary, its mission and principles, the clarity of the four-way test, and the camaraderie Rotary facilitates. I first encountered Rotary living in Kansas City. I was briefly a member while I worked at the Baseball Museum from 1995 to 2023, and I was serving as Vice President and Curator there at the Baseball Museum. For you fans or historians of the Negro Leagues, you probably have heard of the great John Buck O'Neill, who was a member of the Kansas City Monarchs and was chair of the Baseball Museum for many years and was a Paul Harris Fellow, honorary Paul Harris Fellow from Rotary. But the work at the Baseball Museum brought me many rewarding experiences as a historian and educator and a sports fan. However, I got the great opportunity to come here to Tulsa and was honored to be chosen to lead Greenwood Rising Black Wall Street History Center. Now, many of you may have, show of hands, how many have visited the History Center? Just about most of you, so you know the story, and I was very appreciative of if some of you came earlier when we had the joint meeting with the Oklahoma Rotarians. That was a great day. But just to recap the story, Greenwood was a center of life here in Tulsa, in the region, beginning in the 1890s, in an original 45-acre purchase in Creek territory by entrepreneur O.W. Gurley, north of the Frisco Railroad tracks, began to flourish into a haven for migrants and freedmen aspiring to carve out their version of the American dream. Through its imperfections, though, it stood as an emerging space for commerce and cultural excellence. The businesses and lives built here were Black and Native lives, important lives, although there were many who did not think so. As the period that brought brutality and violence across the nation, what historians have referred to as the nadir of race relations in our history, swept through Greenwood in 1921, as you know it, the Tulsa Race Massacre. But the resilience and fortitude of the people pushed Greenwood to rebuild against the backdrop of severely segregated America, and the district was reborn. But Greenwood Rising exists to teach this history with all its tragedies and triumphs. And I've inherited a young institution built by the community with the intention of making sure its heritage would be preserved. The leadership here in Tulsa, which includes you all as Rotarians for helping to make that facility a possibility. You established an important vision and mission for this institution. And so I stand before you today, mission-centered, vision-driven, rooted in our core values and guided by strategy. Our vision at Greenwood Rising is to evoke thought and motivate change in race relations, inspiring work towards social justice, racial reconciliation at home and beyond. And our mission is to educate people about Tulsa's historic Greenwood district, the Black Wall Street mindset, and America's ongoing racial challenges. And we value and aspire to promote humanity, action, justice, and truth. And now in its fourth year, Greenwood Rising is growing from its infancy into a strong, viable institution through the guidance of strategic planning. The inaugural board has grown to include key members of the community. We have developed a staff knowledgeable in history and skilled in operations and programming. And the History Center has welcomed well over 150,000 visitors since its opening in 2021, with about 45% coming from outside of the Oklahoma, Texas area. 75% of our patrons tell us that they knew very little about Black Wall Street and that history before their visit, but 95% of them say that after experiencing Greenwood Rising, they would engage family and friends in meaningful discussions on racial reconciliation. And I can tell you a number of stories by a number of great people who've come through, very interesting people. A lot of groups love to come through the History Center. We're fascinated to have groups like Quick Trip regional managers, or a lot of school children, which I'll talk about. Every Tulsa Police Academy recruit is required to come to Greenwood Rising. And Wichita Police bring their recruits in as well. I often like to tell the story about another important group that we have that comes in is the many members of the Performing Arts Center. When the big plays come to town, the cast usually get to come to Greenwood Rising. And so in our back room where we have discussion with the groups, I often joke with the other groups that, you know, you're sitting where the cast of Hamilton sat. You're in the room where it happened. But I often also like to share the story of One of those casts included a cast of The Lion King, and there was a young lady who was there who was one actress from South Africa. And if you know the history of South Africa, after apartheid, they had these Truth and Reconciliation forums there, where people were, in essence, were confessing to a lot of the things that happened during apartheid. Now, she was a young person. She learned about that in school. So she said, well, I learned about it in school, and it kind of went over my head, and I didn't quite understand all the stories. But when she went through the History Center, she said it filled all the gaps for her in terms of the types of things that people were talking about during apartheid. And she had a cathartic moment, very emotional, and it brought her, she said, closer to her homeland than any other experience that she's had. And so we know we're making a difference with people that come through the History Center. Another quick story, any motorcycle riders here? Got one, two, very good. So if you followed the news in Greenwood, there's now a great motorcycle rally that happens annually in Greenwood. And that's a big weekend for us. We get lots of great people. And motorcycle riders come in all shapes and sizes, and most of them are pretty big, burly men, I must admit. So, but we have fun with them, great guys. But during the motorcycle rally weekend, I was standing in a discussion area and talking to staff and patrons, and this very large man just ran by me, having gone through the exhibit, ran by me in tears, just almost inconsolable. So I stopped what I was doing, and I chased after him a bit, and he ended up back at the front of the History Center. And so I got some tissue, and I put my arm around him, and he had a moment there, and he said, you know, I knew a little bit about this history. I was anxious to come here, but to see the history and to learn about what happened in this community, I just got overwhelmed. I couldn't handle it and needed a moment. And so we know that we're touching people with the way that we're telling stories and how we're doing it. So touching people from all over the country. And there are many more stories I can tell you, but those are just two I wanted to share. But people like our friend from the motorcycle rally and friends from the Performing Arts Center and others, it's important for us as we grow our audience, and it's a big goal for us at the History Center. Now, we do welcome close to 2,000 students annually just through our relationship with Tulsa Public Schools, and all the 8th graders are required to come to Greenwood Rising. We invite the community to the History Center through even a number of free programs, such as a very successful monthly Museums on Us program through Bank of America, or our popular Freedom Fridays during Black History Month, which is presented in partnership with the TTCU, Tulsa Teachers Federal Credit Union. We also have a new membership program available to individuals, families, and corporations. And members can take advantage of other exclusive opportunities that we offer, including educational programming like Books for Thought, which is an author series that we host for national authors to come in, and Uplift and Rise, where we bring speakers to come in and have courageous conversations with us about important topics in the community. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that our next Uplift and Rise program is coming up on September the 10th with Professor Corinice Wilson, where we'll be talking about justice reform, criminal justice reform at the History Center. And then, of course, as we look to next year, 2026 will be our 5th anniversary, so there will be some look for announcements about programming and other things that we'll be doing then. But I want to conclude by thanking all of you again for your part in making Greenwood Rising possible, especially Rotary. But without your support, guidance, and pledges, and donations, and encouragement, it would not be the vital space that it is today. And building and sustaining Greenwood Rising has been a monumental feat. We stand on the shoulders of great people like Hannibal Johnson and others who have made this possible. And we'll need continued support to keep it going. But we've arrived at a very challenging time and challenging moment in American history. There are those who want to make changes to our history that appear to fly into the face of our shared values and priorities. There are those that want to homogenize history, change the narratives, and as one reporter recently said, place controversial events in a memory hole. We have the oldest democracy in the world, and it's heading towards its 250th anniversary, while simultaneously some would say we're hurtling towards authoritarianism. This challenging moment leaves many of us asking, what do we do now? But I propose a better question. How can we lead now? The answer is to keep working. The work of promoting humanity, action, justice, and truth, shared universal aspirations. This work never stops. Also, especially as I speak here today with you, it's important to hold our actions and the actions of our leadership up to the clarifying light of the four-way test. You know, is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And I skipped over the first one, which I think is one of the most important ones. Is it the truth? Is it the truth? So you all have led the way as Rotarians. And Greenwood Rising, we are committed to this work as leaders in educating the country about the truth of American history. And with truth, we can have healing and reconciliation. At Greenwood Rising, we stand committed to upholding our core values, mission, and vision. I call upon you to stand with us, to be leaders of truth and reconciliation in our community. Thank you for your time, and I'm glad to take any questions you have. You're very kind, thank you. I'm told that I can also answer any baseball-related questions, too. Go Cardinals, all right. Very good. He asked about different controversial events in history around Oklahoma, around the country, and I have other communities reached out to us to talk about how to present that. Well, as a young institution, we're still learning from a lot of other communities who have dealt with this. I think it's important to note that in Oklahoma, the teaching of this history is part of social studies standards. And in fact, although there are other controversies around the social studies standards, if you're following the news, teaching of this history is not one of them. In fact, the new social studies standards includes an opportunity to expand the teaching of this history beyond the middle school and early high school ages to the third grade ages as well. So there's going to be progress there. But that also includes teachings of stories like the Trail of Tears here, which is so vital to just understanding the history of Oklahoma, the Osage Reign of Terror, which ironically, historically, if you know the film and book Killers of the Flower Moon, that's the core of that story, and the events of that story happened almost the same month and just a few days apart from the Tulsa Race Massacre. We are in contact with a lot of different institutions, and a lot of people have come to us, and even though we're young, looking at us, I won't say as an exemplar, but as a great example of what they can do in some of their other communities. We, last year, got a visit from a delegation from the Center for National and Civil Human Rights in Atlanta. We also have been in communication with the Kansas African American Museum, which is based in Wichita. They're about to build a new facility hopefully in a few years, but they've been gleaning ideas from the work that we're doing. For example, if you've been to Greenwood Rising, you've seen the barbershop exhibit that we have, pretty neat. All right, so if you know Wichita history, that history includes the history of lunch counter sit-ins. So imagine a lunch counter experience like our barbershop experience, a virtual experience in that way. That if you were to sit at the lunch counter and maybe be someone who might have received some of the vitriol that those protesters would have had during that time. So those are the kinds of ideas that they're thinking about. And then just yesterday, we had a wonderful delegation, and Mr. Johnson was with us, from the Birmingham Institute for Civil Rights. And they brought their board chair and some other key board members up to visit Greenwood Rising and to walk around Greenwood. The Institute is part of a district of many different civil rights organizations as well as sites, and so they wanted to glean from what we're doing here in Greenwood to take back to them for ideas on what to do. And one last point, last year also we had a visit from an educator from Sydney, Australia, who got a fellowship in Australia specifically to travel around the world to visit museums and other sites that deal with what he would call challenging histories. It included an interview with a children's museum in Palestine. He went also to museums in Ireland and in Europe and wanted to come to Greenwood and come to Tulsa. And he wrote, published a paper about it, and we measured up well in terms of education. And of course in Australia, they're dealing with controversial histories. How do you interpret what happened to their first peoples there in Australia, and they're challenged with how to interpret that and rework that, and then how you teach children about that. So we were honored to be part of his study, and he gave us high marks for the way that we're doing it. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, sir. I honestly have no information on that, so I'll have to run that down to see what has happened. There was an exhibit though earlier this year on black baseball here in Tulsa that was at 101 Archer, put together by a young man who had been studying that history. Although you know you're getting older, he mentioned to me that he had spoken to me 10 years ago at the Baseball Museum about trying to do research about baseball in Oklahoma. And I gave him some advice, and I told him this, and then that inspired him. So 10 years later, he's created this whole exhibit on the history of black baseball in Tulsa. And so that humbled me a lot, also made me feel my age a lot as well. So I was just learning about Lacey Park. So I don't know about that specific story. I will say, though, that in recent years, we have had some troubling situations as it related to baseball and monuments. Right before I left the Baseball Museum, we were able to acquire a placard, which was in Georgia. The placard was actually the state placard at the site of Jackie Robinson's birthplace, Cairo, Georgia. He was born there in 1919. The placard needed to be replaced because someone took a rifle to it and had shotgun shells in it. And they were going to destroy it, but they called the Baseball Museum and said, well, is there something you can do with this? And we decided to take it and we display it so that people can understand not only Robinson's story, but you know, the fact that we have a long way to go in terms of race relations. And then more recently in Wichita, there was a Jackie Robinson statue there outside of a Little League park that someone decided that they were going to cut down and just left the feet of the base of the monument there. Now, those feet ended up in Kansas City at the Baseball Museum, too, but they've since been able to replace that statue. I understand there was a similar situation here in Tulsa where someone had damaged the ballerina statues that are out by the Tulsa Museum of History. It's a very similar situation. So we got a long way to go, and so hopefully This particular situation you mentioned isn't racially motivated, but we'll see. So, all right. Thank you.
Brian, this is the first time I can ever remember meeting with one of our Rotarians, gave a homework assignment to a guest speaker. So thank you for that. It's unique. I want to remind you of one thing that Dr. Doswell said that I think applies to all of us as Rotarians, and that was, how can we lead now? As Rotarians, we need to consider that carefully. We lead with service above self. We need to be applying that in our lives every day. Jenny Hammock did another great job picking a book that will be donated to our partner in education, Celia Clinton Elementary. The title of the book is They Built Me for Freedom, the story of Juneteenth and Houston's Emancipation Park. Thanks, Jenny, for that. And I hope, Dr. Doswell, you'll inscribe this on the interior. Upcoming programs. We keep having good programs. And I mean, look around you again. Once again, we've got full tables except for the Baptist table up front. And somebody, please sit with Kevin Murray next week so that he's not by himself. He's an accountant, but he's not a bad person. Sit with him. So next week, our speaker is Matthew Maniche, the founder of the Maniche Virtual CMO and Marketing Agency. You will not have heard anything like what he's going to talk to us about before. I'm excited about that one. Mike O'Donovan with MFS Securities, the oldest mutual fund company in the nation, is the following week. And then September 17th, I don't know how you pulled this off, Chaz, but a guy named Steve Wyatt is speaking. If you know who Steve Wyatt is, he's, I think, what they call the Chief Investment Officer. Is that right, for BOK? Chief Investment Strategist for Bank of Oklahoma. What's that tell you? That tells you that George Kaiser trusts this guy with his money. It'd be worth hearing what he has to say, I think. So I hope you can come to those presentations. I've got a special thank you to our gold sponsors, Weeby Trees, Tim Nall, Scissortail Custom Pools, Trey Walling, Coldwell Banker Select, Sheree Gardner. Sheree, we're going to get you on the schedule to be a speaker, I think, during Karen McCannell's year. Dave Bryant with Farmers Insurance, Ryan Quattrochi with Ellsworth Construction, Graydon Yohe with Health Zone St. Francis. Our silver meeting sponsors this week, J.D. Young, Doug Stewart, Michael Hairston of the Trust Company of Oklahoma, Allen Edwards, Inc., Chip Edwards, MidFirst Private Bank, Becky Fields-Welson. Did I see Becky come in a little bit ago? Sure enough, Becky, it's good to see you. Becky, you've got more presence on LinkedIn than anybody I know, girl. You're there all the time and looking sharp. NPI nameplates, Brooke Hamilton. Our bronze sponsors this week, BKL Architects and Engineers, Jenny Hammock, Claude Neon Federal Signs, James Adair, Commerce Bank, Darren Walkup and Ben Jones, Gable Gottwalls, Jeff Hassel, Paul Rossler, Adam Doverspike. There is a committee meeting today in room 231, Club Foundation Grants. Our own Bill Vogel will be leading that because DJ's in Oklahoma City. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for your dedication to the ideals of service above self and making an impact on our communities. With that, meeting's adjourned.